The 2020 Mercedes-Benz EQC just made its US debut at the 2019 Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. But the important question is this: is this Mercedes' most important car to date? Well, to answer that question, I'm going to tell you the top 5 things you need to know about the 2020 Mercedes-Benz EQC, including its competition, some stuff about the styling, performance figures, technology available in the EQC, and of course, when it's going to be on sale here in the US. So let's get right into it. One thing that might make this a pretty important Mercedes-Benz is the competition that it has to go up against, because a lot of manufacturers are bringing out compact crossovers that are electrified. For example, the Audi e-tron is about to come out later on this year. The Tesla Model X has been here for a little while. Of course, Jaguar has the I-Pace, which is their electrified crossover. And then there's the BMW iX3, which we know is coming later in 2020. As you can tell by taking a look at the EQC, this is a pretty major shift from conventional Mercedes design. This is the first of a line of EQ models, with of course more coming along later on. Mercedes says it's supposed to be part SUV, but also part coupe. You can tell because it has a bit of a sloping roofline. Take a look at the front end. Well, you can tell it's an electric vehicle because it doesn't really have a grille. Instead, Mercedes has given it this black panel grille that kind of resembles a normal grille, but obviously doesn't do quite the same thing. And then you have these contrasting color headlights that are white and blue to let you know it's part of the EQ family, which is of course a range of electrified vehicles. Next up, and probably one of the more important things for the EQC, has to be performance. This is a dual motor all-wheel drive setup. There's one motor pack at each axle, and it's powered by an 80 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack, and together the system makes 402 horsepower and 564 pound-feet of torque. It's an electric vehicle, it's going to be very torquey, and of course all that torque is available at 0 RPMs for each of the electric motors. Mercedes says 0 to 60 is over with in 4.9 seconds, and apparently the EQC will hit a top speed that is electronically limited to 112 miles per hour. Obviously, for EVs, range is a critical figure, and according to the new European driving cycle, the NEDC cycle, the EQC will get 279 miles of range. Of course, you have to know that that's different from the EPA figure, and as of when this video was made, no EPA figures have been published thus far. What about charging time? Well, Mercedes says that you can go from 10% battery up to 80% battery in 40 minutes with a 110 kilowatt maximum. Of course, an AC charger is just 7.4 kilowatts, so if you're charging at home, it's going to be a bit slower than if you can find a fast charger. A couple more things about performance. Mercedes has given the EQC a number of drive modes, including Eco, Max Range, Sport, Comfort, and Individual. Obviously, the individual setting will let you customize your own settings. Then there's one more thing called Eco Assist, which basically prompts the driver when to lift off the accelerator. It tries to help you be as eco-friendly as possible. But what's cool about this is that it actually uses navigation, traffic sign recognition, and other things to help you figure out the best way to drive your electric vehicle. What about other technology? Well, of course, it's a new Mercedes-Benz. You know it's going to have MBUX. What is MBUX? That's Mercedes-Benz User Experience. It's their latest infotainment system, and it's coming out on basically every new vehicle that Mercedes is putting out right now. But there's a number of active and passive safety assist features, which I'll also cover. Back to MBUX really quick. Of course, this is a new infotainment system, and there's a bunch of cool new features, including one called Interior Assistant. This basically gives you a bunch of gesture controls, like for example, if you're driving at night, you can reach over into the passenger seat for like a piece of paper or something like that. The Mercedes will recognize that you're reaching for something to look at it, and it'll shine the dome lights to help you see better, and then when you put the paper back, move your hand back to the steering wheel, it'll turn off the light again. There's going to be a bunch of different gesture controls like that on these new MBUX systems. Of course, MBUX mixes together a bunch of different interfaces. There's a touchscreen display, another digital dashboard, plus touch controls on the steering wheel, and a little touchpad down by where the cup holders are. You also get voice commands that are activated when you say, "Hey Mercedes," and it has natural language recognition, so you can talk to it just like you would talk to your friend. Mercedes have also given the EQC a couple of intelligent services, that's what they call them. One such thing is what they call pre-entry climate control. Basically, you can program the temperature of your EQC before you even get in the vehicle. But this next one is what I think is pretty cool. It has what they call EQ optimized navigation. So if you're navigating somewhere and you decide you need to charge, like say you're on a road trip, it can calculate the best routes based on where the shortest charging times are. Of course, the EQC also comes with a huge suite of driver and safety enhancement options, such as active distance assistant, which is basically adaptive cruise control. You also get lane keep assist, emergency braking, and blind spot monitoring, all that good stuff. I think a lot of people are worried that an electric vehicle might be potentially more dangerous in an accident due to the large battery that the car has to carry around at all times. Mercedes has thought of this and built in a number of different systems to help keep the EQC safer in the event of a crash. So they mounted the battery under the floor, that's pretty standard, but they've also designed certain what they call deformation elements. So if the car gets hit from the side, well, they have special stuff built into the frame to make sure that the battery doesn't get crunched and electrocute anybody. Of course, there's also battery guards that protect the battery from debris. When can you buy a Mercedes EQC? Well, that's a great question. Production is set to start later in 2019 in Bremen, Germany. And then the EQC will go on sale later in 2020. This is a 2020 model year, and that's when it's supposed to go on sale. Of course, we don't know pricing information just yet, but I'm sure we'll find out a lot more as we get closer to the launch date in 2020. Please tell me what you guys think of the EQC down below, and let me know if you do think this is one of Mercedes' most important cars to date. Based on the competition and the sort of performance figures that they're putting out, I think this could be a very impactful vehicle for Mercedes, but of course, I want to hear what you think. For the Fastlane Car, I'm Mike Curtis. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned to TFLcar.com for more news, views, real-world reviews, and hopefully soon we'll have the chance to drive one of these and we can get you a full review in the very near future.